Beautiful. So, big welcome to today's Conscious Creator Masterclass. I'm really thrilled to see so many of you jumping on in. It's so nice to have people on live, and of course, it's great for those of you that are watching the recording as well. But I'm really excited about today's topic, and it's about the magic of all possibilities. But before we jump into the magic of all possibilities, I would love in the chat box if you could let me know how your week's been since the last masterclass that we had. What have you noticed? We dropped really deep into uh, your identity, being in the identity matrix, and so I would just love a little bit of feedback before we begin. Let me know how you have noticed things being. When have you noticed, or have you allowed yourself to really embody being in that identity, and what has your week been like relative to that? So I'm just going to give a little bit of time to let you, because I know that most of you that are on this call were on that call as well. So I would love to get some feedback. It's a really big thing, isn't it, when we really embody our higher self, and really work on being in this identity that really serves us. Awesome. Even had a yes day yesterday, and it was great engaging with others. Beautiful. Love it. Love it. Love it. Beautiful. Notice my unconscious really trying hard to keep me safe and not wanting me to move forward and step into my new identity. Yeah, absolutely. Definitely a shift in being. Really love stepping into that, and I feel it would be a great place and practice to step into on a daily basis. Yeah, absolutely. Like, and just embracing it, isn't it? Embracing it. It's like, well, it is already within us. This identity is already within us, and we just get to grow it and come from that space and live from that space, as opposed to coming from an identity in old ways that don't serve us anymore. So it is very powerful, and it does just get to be this instead of having to deeply step into the identity matrix, is just embracing what it is that we know, and that feeling, when we have this elevated identity showing up in our current reality, bringing all aspects of ourselves into the forefront, then it really means that it's the same identity as what it is, in our desired reality. And that's important, right? It means that no matter what's happening in our current reality, we kind of arrive at the same point of being. Like, it doesn't matter if we are wealthy or poor, if we have a partner or not. It doesn't really matter what's happening in our reality, because we feel whole and we feel complete and we feel powerful no matter what's going on around us, which effectively also supports the conditioning of the unconscious as well, and it knowing that regardless of what's happening, it's not going to die. Yeah, we're living in the now, which is awesome. Yeah, 100%. 100%. So today's conversation is all about the magic of all possibilities. And there's just so much magic in creation, when we really open up to all the possibilities that are available to us. Possibilities of what we can create, possibilities, all the possibilities of how they can be created. And because I've noticed that in conversations, there's been a lot of conversations around true choices lately, or living a life that we love, conversations about how people can't do certain things. And we're just so fixed in our conditioning, and we really tend to find all the reasons why we can't have what it is that we want. We're so conditioned to find all the ways why we can't have why I can't have this elevated life, why I can't, and actually yesterday or the day before was quite an example of it. So I was talking to someone in our community who really would have loved to have come to the retreat, and she said, "Oh, look, I can't come. I'm not sure if she's on this call. I can't come because I've got these things on, and I actually have a wedding on the date that the retreat begins." And I said, "Well, what if you looked at all the possibilities? Maybe you can come. The first day of the retreat is very relaxed. There's actually nothing that you'd miss out on. So why couldn't you? Is it a possibility that you can go to the wedding and then fly the next day?" And she thought about it, and she said, "Oh yeah, but I'm taking my family, and then we'll stay the night, and then that would just make." And I said, "Well, what if we just thought of all the possibilities, right? So what if you take your own vehicle and you come back and so long story short, she's coming to the retreat because she thought it actually wasn't a possibility. She's like, oh, I can't because. And so logic says, I can't because of this. But when we open ourselves up to all the possible ways that things can be created, we can absolutely find a solution. We can find ways. And the more that we really build on that and open ourselves up to, this is possible that I can create this, whether it does feel like a big, beautiful vision or a smaller choice. It's absolutely possible. So there is a lot of magic when we open ourselves up to all the possibilities, we tell ourselves that it's just not possible for me. It's possible for others. I've seen others do it, but it's just not possible for me. And then we find evidence of that, right? We find evidence of why it's not possible for ourselves. And we do that on all levels of consciousness, right? We find problems instead of solutions to things. Maybe. Because that's how we've been conditioned to find problems, to find evidence of why we're not good enough, or why we're not capable, or why we can't, or why we're not perfect, why we're not significant. And so we are limiting ourselves. We're really limiting ourselves, seeing yourself as limited and living by your limitations. It's like wanting to live a life that we love, but kind of toe dipping in it. And it's like, yeah, I want to, but there are all these things in the way of why I can't. And as we know, when we're focusing on all the ways of why we can't, then that is what we're creating, right? So let me ask you this. What would life be like for you if you were to fully open to all the possibilities of living a life that you love? Like in all the ways that life that you love could be created. What would life be like for you? Type in the chat box. What would life be like for you? Just epic, amazing. If you could let go of all the beliefs, thoughts, emotions, resistance, the fixed way of being, and you allowed your reality to be in such a way that it was truly expansive and limitless, what would that be like? That you saw possibilities, and you could really see the opportunities. You could see these possibilities, and you gravitated to opening up to all the ways that they could be created. What would that be like? Powerful freedom. It would just be magic, right? It would just feel so good. And we have that within us. It's just the conditioning from our past that is holding this limitation. And who would love to play in the magic of all possibilities? Who would love that? Who would love to play in the magic of all possibilities? Phoebe says, yes, me. Beautiful. Yeah. And it is magic, and it is fun, and it is playful, and there's a whole sense of freedom. Even when we talk about it, it's like, yeah, in this world there are so many possibilities, there are so many things available, you know, and we just know that it's there. There's an infinite amount of opportunities and information and possibilities, right? Would you all agree? Like, it's everywhere. Give me a yes in the chat box. Yes, agreed. Hey, Bria, good to have you on. Good to have you on. Yeah. Lots of possibilities. Lots of possibilities. I nearly got my blooming finger jammed in that. Lots of possibilities. I'm just gonna pull. Oh, I might have to do this. Shift my computer a little bit. Lots of possibilities. So when we think about it, like there are. This isn't going to be fancy, but I am a super visual person. We know that there's more than just, I don't know, 10 or how many of a P's that I've put up there, but let's just connect into the world of possibilities. There are so many possibilities of the things that we can create, possibilities on how things can be created, and and we know that it's all there and it's all available, right? And we know that we create our own individual realities. Our focus creates our reality, yeah? Our focus creates our reality. And I want to help you to be in the focus of what's actually possible. What's actually possible. To really open up and be in the focus of all possibilities that sit in your true choices, that sit in your orientational choices, that sit for you in this desired reality, not just what you think is possible. Because we stay in this of just what we think is possible, because what we think is possible is perhaps just a little fraction further, or however you want to explain it, like, it's a little fraction more than what you've already created from the past. And so it's like, it's possible. That's possible. I can perhaps create, this business, but I'll create it on a small scale. And we massively limit ourselves, in a life, just by going for what it is that we think is possible. And when you're limiting, living a life that you love, we're limiting our happiness, aren't we? We're limiting our happiness. We're limiting what we can create. We are just in this box of limitations. So when we come from a place on creating what we think is possible, what happens is we, let me just get another color. Shall we go for pink? Let's go for pink. What we do is we box it, we cap ourselves. It's like, this is all that's possible because this is all that I see. This is all that's obvious to me right now. This is all that I've been capable to create so far. Or, what's right in front of me, that's the only possibility. Or, I'm so fixed on being in my logic that we forget about all the other possibilities outside of that, right? And we're limiting ourselves. We create this glass box that we keep ourselves in, and we might have the story of all those possibilities, as I said before, they're there for others, and maybe it's possible for me. But we don't really just let this glass box break, keeping our choices small and keeping the end result of the choices really small. We can only create them in a certain way. It's like, you know, like I said before about the tree, it's like, oh no, this thing's in the way, I can't go. It's like, well, what if you explore it? What if we explore all the options and all the possibilities? Or we say, you know, given my current reality, I can't build the house of my dreams. Or what if we explore all the possibilities? Because there's so many possible ways that we can be in wealth. There's so many possible ways that we can have the relationship that we desire. There's so many possible ways that we can create an outcome that we want. There's so many possible ways that we can create a massive creative development business. Like there's so many possibilities. And in knowing there are so many possibilities in life and many possible ways to create it, but we still stick to this, but it's not for me. I can't. I can't have what I want. I can't have what I want. And then where does the power go? Not within us. It can be so easy to play small and safe, going for only what you feel you are capable of creating, or only what you can see or you can imagine. And we've talked about this before as well. When we step into a full court orientation of choices or our true choices, and we even step into them in a limited way, it's like in our imagination we keep that box and we actually keep that limited as well. We only just it's just that little bit further on, not just actually the expansive beautiful vision that's true to our heart. Why is it that we sabotage ourselves by feeling so unworthy? It's the simplicity of our unconscious just wanting to keep us safe. It's our conditioning because it's survivable. Self-sabotage is survivable, right? It's a way of being, and it's the path of least resistance. It's easier to be in that pain than to step out and really embrace our greatness and genius and really go for what it is that we want. So, we want to be putting all of our energy and focus in what it is that we desire, in the end result, in the outcome that we want, even if it looks like it's that thing is not going to happen. We just open to all the possibilities. Some of you, we've talked on our one-on-one sessions about heart storming. I don't call it brainstorming, but it's like, okay, you want this, we'll just open up to all the ways that this can be created. Open up to all the possibilities. So I'm kind of touching on the all possibilities in two ways. It's like all the possibilities in your beautiful big picture vision, and also all the possible ways, all the possibilities, being in the magic of how these things can be created, because it is just so powerful. Yeah, heart storing. Yeah, we come from the heart instead of the brain. When we come from the brain, sometimes we get too much in the logic. Yeah. So we want to be putting our energy into what it is that we truly desire and creating from that space, and knowing that there are so many possibilities that are outside of this, this glass box, this glass wall that we're creating for ourselves, allowing all choices to grow and expand and to be truly limitless beyond what you consciously think is possible, because we connect into the possibility of only what we think is possible. Oh, well, I can't want to have a private jet, because how would that be possible? But it is possible. I can't want to have millions of dollars, because my focus is only this thing, and how can I create $1 million from this thing? Well, yeah, there are so many possibilities of how we can create wealth. And it might be that someone gifts it to us. Like there are so many ways. When we just open up to all the possibilities, there's so many ways. If you had a choice, say around being in the end result of having deep connections and having fun with loved ones. There's a vast difference between visualizing having a coffee with friends or a date night with your partner at a nice restaurant compared to welcoming your friends on a super yacht and that you've hired for the day, or flying by helicopter to the top of the mountains to have a picnic with your loved one. Isn't there? So we get to be in all the possibilities. We want to expand our thoughts to not just and there's nothing wrong. So obviously, yes, it's beautiful to be able to have go out for lunch and whatever, but we can create it. We can create it even bigger. So first week, gone from thinking you would have work from home, a limiting job, seeing yourself traveling and working anywhere and everywhere. Super excited. Yes, I love that. So good. So good. So, we seem to only be conditioning our unconscious on a minimal level to have, to have the coffee with friends or a date night. And yeah, they are awesome choices. However, we want to allow ourselves to be expansive and limitless, to give expansive information and conditioning to our unconscious, to see the possibilities and to, I think we have also this conditioning of this, it's a dream, it's a daydream, and we attach certain things to that. But if it's true in your heart, why not? Why not? When you think about your choice around your finance, having more money than you can spend, enjoying total financial abundance, your highest level of wealth beyond your wildest dreams, how far are you allowing yourself to be in your desired reality? How expansive are you visualizing? Or is it just boxed to just being enough to, yeah, I can see myself, I can freely pay my bills, and it's not expansive? Or does it actually include traveling first class, having homes that you desire around the world, creating maybe a foundation to be able to give money to other people? So, what are you visualizing in your desired reality? How are you connecting into this infinite world of possibilities? So let's remove the lid off the box of possibilities that we've been playing in. Well, I know that there's one more, like there's more than just one, right? we've never connected in that there's only one possible way. But I'm not going to spend half an hour trying to write like a million P's on the P's on the paper. P's on the paper. So the truth is, there is no creation or choice that is beyond your capability of having it created. There's none. It comes down to choice, and it's simply that the power, it's where the power sits. So if the power's in the ego and living away by only going for what you think is possible, so that's one way. Or you're putting the limitations on the way that you think it can be created. So it's like, I'm only going for this because this is what's possible, or putting limitations on the way that you think that it can be created. I can't create this because of that, and I do want to create this, but here are all the limitations and all the reasons why I can't. And we know that all things are created twice, right? We create it internally and externally. In our mind, and then in reality. So when we think about it, if it's created first in our mind, then what must we use? We must use our mind. We must allow ourselves to grow our imagination. Because when we grow our imagination, everything expands. It's like 1 minute there's this, and then all of a sudden that's broken, and then you're connected to all the possible, all the possible ways, all the possibilities. Allowing yourself just to grow this beautiful imagination, build it just like you would build a muscle at the gym, right? And I'm sure that you can see when you think about it, it's like, okay, what muscle have I actually been building? I've been building all the things that are in the way, all the reasons why I can't, all the problems that I need to fix, as opposed to being in the fun and play of all the possibilities and creating from that space. And it simply takes our intention and our focus and consistency, because the more that we connect into possibilities, the more that we open ourselves up to solutions, the more that we allow ourselves to be disconnected by all the ways that we feel incomplete about ourselves, and disconnect ourselves from our past, right? Because that can be another thing. It's like, when we're stepping into creation and we're trying to open up, working on opening up to all the possibilities, and we have this voice in our head, but but what about the past? You've tried that before, or fill in the space. We all have that, we all have that talk track, don't we? We all have the stories, and I'm sure they play very similar, to all of us. So let's have some fun. Let's have some fun. Let's have the unconscious know that it's safe, beyond what we have so far, to live a life that you love. How do we do this? How do we teach our unconscious that it's safe? It's safe to live beyond what it is that we've created so far. How do we teach that? How do we do it? We use our imagination, right? We use our imagination. I'm just going to pop this out of the way because the lighting kind of goes a bit weird. We use our imagination. When we're stepping into the end result of our choices, we're using our imagination. Yeah? So we're going to grow our imagination. We're going to open up to allowing ourselves to be in the fun and play. Allowing ourselves to be in the fun and play. So what I would love for you to do is go ahead and close your eyes. And as you have your eyes closed, setting the intention to be in the fun and play of using your imagination. Using the deep relaxation technique, just either in your mind or out loud, say unconscious, deep relaxation, taking 3 big deep breaths, breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth, and again in through the nose, and out through the mouth. One more time, in through the nose, and out through the mouth. And as you're feeling nice and relaxed, allowing yourself to connect into being in your powerful identity. So maybe if you were in last week's session, you connect into that feeling of what it's like being in your identity matrix. Allowing yourself to feel powerful. being connected fully into your genius. And in this moment in time, knowing that you're whole, you're complete, allowing yourself to be the fullest expression of yourself, just being fully open to what's true in your heart about living a life that you love. Just acknowledging that it's okay to just let go of all of your resistance, any stories, beliefs, and choosing to be in the fun and play of your imagination. And as you're choosing to be in the fun and play of your imagination, I want you to start with these words, and then I'm going to leave space for you just to fill it in. And the words are, wouldn't it be nice if? Wouldn't it be nice if? And just allow yourself to float into you living a life that you love. Wouldn't it be nice if? Wouldn't it be nice if I created something? Wouldn't it be nice if I experienced? Wouldn't it be nice to have? And I'm going to give you quite a few minutes to be in this. And just as it drops off, if there, if at any time it drops off and you're not feeling connected into your imagination, just go back and say, wouldn't it be nice if? Wouldn't it be nice if I created? Wouldn't it be nice if I experienced? Wouldn't it be nice to have? And just pulling the thread, just teaching yourself how to be open to your imagination. Allow it to be expansive. Wouldn't it be nice if I experienced staying in a 5-star hotel? Wouldn't it be nice if I experienced flying first class? Wouldn't it be nice if I created a holiday home in Switzerland? I don't know what is true for you. You just open up to, wouldn't it be nice if? Wouldn't it be nice if I effortlessly wrote my book? Wouldn't it be nice to join Rochelle's retreat? Wouldn't it be nice to fly somewhere fun for the weekend? And as you're being in the fun and play with connecting into your imagination, feel it in your body, feel the energy, feel how light it feels, how playful it feels. Feel the emotions that it brings to you. And go ahead and put a smile on your face, like really connect into everything that you're imagining. Wouldn't it be nice to have a personal chef? Wouldn't it be nice to travel the world? Wouldn't it be nice to create a foundation to be able to give and help lots of people? Wouldn't it be nice to hire a super yacht and invite and pay for my friends and family to come? And if any resistance might randomly decide to pop up, just acknowledge that it popped up and just give yourself permission to let it go, and then just embrace again being in the fun and play of your imagination. And just observe for you, how easy is it for you to be in your imagination, or is it a challenge? There's no right or wrong of it. And then as you're enjoying being in your imagination, choose it. Out of all the possibilities, out of everything that you've imagined, just allow yourself, if it's in your heart, choose it. It's all available, isn't it? It's all available for you. And when you step into this beautiful identity that serves you and allowing yourself to be in the fun and play of your imagination, this is where the magic happens. When you're ready, taking a big deep breath, opening your eyes, coming back. And you're like, I'm not coming back. I'm staying there. I am staying there. You know, it's interesting, isn't it? Because, you know, we're conditioned to dull down our imagination. You're just imagining it. That's just your imagination. Don't dream too big. That's not possible. I don't know, you know, what happened in your childhood, or you know, things that repeatedly played in your mind or were spoken from your parents. Don't get too big for your boots. Did anyone have that? Don't get too big for your boots. No, all you need is just enough. All you need is just enough. But here's what I know: when we open ourselves up in our imagination to all the possibilities, not only is it powerful for conditioning our unconscious, but I know for me, when I just let go of having to be in my logic and trying to see things in, only in one way, this comes down to lenses as well, right? It's like, well, what are all the things, what are all the ways that this can be created, this particular thing? And when I open up to all the possibilities, it's like, oh, wow, I never thought of that thing. Like, I was thinking of logically what's obvious, but then there are all these other ways that, that this can be created. So allowing ourselves to be in the fun and play and exploring, right? We explore all the possibilities of our orientational choices, of our true choices, and how they can be created, and the possibilities of, how big they can be created, what's in them, and how, how we get to be in the end result. We use our imagination to create the visions that we desire, and we just open ourselves completely up to all the possibilities. So what we might actually do is, who, by the way, when you were in that, who had some resistance that come up? You did, and who had some resistance? Who had some, or who found it challenging even just to be open to really being in your imagination? Like, was it a little bit tricky? Or was it, or was it easy? And there's no right or wrong answer to this either, by the way. Nice, nice, nice. So we're actually going to do a recode today, just a little short one, because I am just being guided to. It wasn't actually planned, but we're going to because I know that there is some resistance that sits in being just allowed to live in this, in this higher way of being, living to our fullest potential, because that is what is connected to our imagination, and that is what's connected to all of these possibilities, right? There's always a way. There's always a way to be in the end result of something. Always. I think this is one of the biggest things in this work to really learn. If you really, really want something, and you put the power in that, as opposed to putting the power in all the reasons why you can't, you can create it. You can create it. It's inevitable that will be created. It's inevitable. So what I would love for you to do is choose a choice that you would like to work with today. So maybe it's an orientational choice. I mean, really, you could easily just use the choice of living a life that I love, because that's kind of what we've been connecting into today. But if you have those that have true choices that you might just want to specifically work with one, then you can. And we're just going to flow just through the steps, so you don't need to write anything in the chat box at this point. Just be in your own observation. Nice, Weir. Live a life I love is perfect. Weir's totally in the end result as well of coming to the retreat. She's in the US, so that's really exciting. Super excited about that. So let's go ahead. And Debbie's coming. Oh yeah. She's like, yeah, totally in the end result. Beautiful. Okay, so let's go ahead and close our eyes. And simply set the intention to allow this recode to serve you at the greatest of good. So what we're going to do is choose the choice that you are going to be working with. And again, I would just suggest that you choose living a life that you love, because we've already really sort of connected into the end result of that a little bit. So allowing yourself to be in the end result. So you're going to use your imagination. I choose the end result of living a life I love, and stepping into sometime in the future, what are all the ways that let you know this to be true? How are you living a life that you love? And just using your imagination and all the possible ways that you're living a life that you love. And just keep your eyes closed and just be in the visualization, what it looks like and how it feels. And just feel the energy of being in the end result of this choice. Just feel it radiating through your whole body. Just notice what it feels like. What are the emotions? How does it feel to be in the end result of living a life that you love? Who are you surrounding yourself by? What are you doing? What are you creating? What are your finances like? And then as you're connected into your desired reality, this is your desired reality, just observe your current reality and just observe it like it's sitting in front of you. So you're embodied in your desired reality. You're in this identity. You're courageous. You're powerful. You're strong. You're creating these incredible things in your life, and just notice, like in front of you is sitting your current reality, and just observe, like just step into your current reality for a moment and just observe what it is like to be in your current reality. Where are you now relative to your desired reality? Simply as an observation, no need to get attached to that it's bad or it's wrong or anything else. It's just an observation. And then noticing between your current reality and your desired reality, noticing what resistance is in the way, noticing the beliefs that come up for you. Perhaps noticing your inner conflicts, like I really choose to be in the end result of how I see my future. Choose it, but what comes after the but for you? What's the inner conflict? What emotions come up? Is there fear? Are you worried about being judged? What resistance comes up around judgment? How you're judging yourself, perhaps even how you judge others. Maybe there's even resistance on being in the end result. Maybe you just feel it in your body, that there just feels like it feels tight in your body. What stories do you tell yourself of why being in your desired reality isn't possible? Just notice as all this resistance comes up, and notice as it's accumulating, What resistance number, and you don't need to type it in, let's just keep our eyes closed. What resistance number comes up? So out of 10, 10 being like a lot of resistance, there's a lot in the way. And just imagine it like you have your current reality and your desired reality. And there is, and that is exactly what it is. It's a river of desire. You have this river that flows from your current reality to your desired reality. And the resistance is the boulders and stones and things that are in the way that stops that river just flowing beautifully to the desired reality. And so if you have lots of boulders and there's hardly any water trickling to the, past those boulders to the desired reality, then your resistance would be closer to a 10. And of course, if it was 0, that would mean that there was no resistance. And in actual fact, you'd be in your desired reality. And you wouldn't be using this as a choice to be working with. So just in your mind, just note what the resistance number is for you. And in your mind, I ask that you give me permission to connect with your superconscious. I give Rochelle permission to connect with my superconscious. Superconscious, please do all that is needed so I can connect with you and communicate with you, reminding yourself of this process, welcoming all parts, part-time personalities, and all aspects of consciousness to the treatment team, ensuring that they have everything they need to know and feel good about being treated, with the outcome of creating more satisfaction, harmony, and peace in life's experience. Superconscious, please tag and treat the heart chakra. And superconscious, please tag and treat the belief that I need to get approval from others in order to have and create what it is that I desire. Superconscious, please tag and treat the resistance around feeling powerless to life's circumstances. And superconscious, please tag and treat any family entanglements. Superconscious, please treat this belief that I need to learn more and be more and change who I am in order to have what I want. This belief that an abundant life is for others, it's not for me. Superconscious, please tag and treat, just going back through the timeline, back 2 generations, there's a deep-seated belief that it's a given that life has to be a struggle. That is just how life is. Life is created to be hard. Nobody gets it easy. Life is challenging. Life is a struggle. Superconscious, please come back, moving through the timelines, to just touching on any other beliefs that are causing resistance, treating in the structures needed systematically right up until right here, right now. Please do massive change history and everything is needed. Thank you. Superconscious, please tag and treat all memories that are causing resistance. Superconscious, please tag and treat the fear of letting go of the past. Treating the fear of uncertainty for the future. And superconscious, finding any other childhood wounds, please tag and treat. Treating past events, present events, future events. Superconscious, please tag and treat the fear of there being a consequence if I speak out. Superconscious, if there are any other beliefs, emotions, memories, events, circumstances coming up in the active experience, please tag and treat with total love and respect and kindness with the intention of bringing this resistance down as close to a zero as possible in the time frame as needed, in the structure as needed. Please do massive change history and memories 1, 2, and 3. Any other memories, including ego states, Tanner memory, shadow memory, all levels of physiology, DNA, past lives, future lives, parallel lives, and all aspects of consciousness. Please ground the memories we've touched today, reconnecting them to the matrix of the universe. And as you sit here with your eyes closed, deeply connecting into your choice and just opening yourself up to all the possibilities, all the possible ways that this choice can be created, all the possibilities of this choice, what can be in this choice. Playfully being at your level, elevating yourself to your highest potential. Anchoring in on the truth of who you are, your identity, who you choose to be, how you choose to show up, what it is that you choose to create. Feel the ease as you let go of the past, let go of any other resistance that's sitting there for you. Embodying your greatness, embodying your genius. And really choosing this choice, choosing it in a way that you're committed to creating it. You are willing to take the obvious action. feeling how good it feels. When you're ready, taking a nice big deep breath, breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth. Coming back to the conversation when you're ready. Holy smokes, Batman! I know that was it was huge. I can't even actually see properly at the minute. I can kind of. It's just a bit blurry. How is that? Let me know in the chat box. Where is your resistance now? I would love to hear what's really landed for you today in this conversation. What stood out for you the most? And some of you might just feel like, I'm just trying to get myself back together. Thanks. After that. Super powerful. This is really nice. Nice. It's really, really powerful for us to, when we're experiencing master classes or any kind of learning, to really look at what has stood out for us, because it's again an acknowledgement to our consciousness as well. All chains and shackles are removed. I love it. I love it. You know, we really, now that we've brought this into conversation, I will imagine that as the rest of the week goes, you will notice how fixed you have been in your consciousness of, well, it can only be that way. It can only be that way. But it's just not true. There are so many ways. I remember even, building this house. And, when I look back, even though I didn't know this work back then, but I look back and I have probably for a good part of my life been, well, this is just what I want, and I'm just going to figure out how I'm going to make it happen. And even with this, like, I knew that it was going to happen. Well, part of me was hoping, and part of me knew that this was going to happen. And in my opening to all the possible ways, then I love my husband to pieces. He doesn't look as much to all the possible ways as what I do, and he's like, this is why we can't, this is how we can't. I'm like, yeah, but this is how we can. And so the more that we build that, and I've seen in as years have gone by how he's opened up too more to all the possibilities. And I'm not talking in this conversation because it's not about actually changing other people, because that's not why I brought this conversation up. But it's just the more that we practice it, and the more that we have it as our own innate way of being, to look at all the possible ways that something can be created. It doesn't mean that it's necessarily going to be created right now, but we open it up, and when we open it up, it's like, oh yeah, wow, there's that opportunity and that opportunity, because we're not in this closed little limited box anymore of, this is the only way, this is all that I can create, and these are the only ways that I can actually create them. Because we de-shackle that, we take that off, and it's like, wow, there's all these possibilities. Yeah, that possibility seems really far-fetched, but it is possible. You could meet someone down the street and they could give you $1 million. Highly unlikely, but it is possible, right? I mean, it seems really crazy, but it's possible. Still processing, had big muscle contractions, takeaways. As a Christian, wouldn't it be nice if felt more excitement with that question? Yeah, yeah, and I think that's just it. If we're ever feeling stuck or challenged, stepping into our orientational choices. One, we embody being in an identity that really serves us. So we start by being in our greatness and genius, and and then we step into, wow, wouldn't it be nice if? And then as we're opening up in that way, then we just choose it. We just choose it. Beautiful. Yeah, it feels good to lift the lid and being open to more in our life. Absolutely. And I'll tell you something else that I've really witnessed is the more that I've been in this work, the more I realize, and this is not putting anything against people that don't know this work, it's just an observation that when I go out into the world that doesn't live this work, I just notice how limited people's perception is and perspective and how they hold themselves small. And I have to remind myself that you know it's not up to me to go and save everyone and try and coach everyone in this world, this work, as much as I would love to. But we're all powerful creators, right? We're all powerfully creating our reality. And so, what I sow in my heart for everyone that is here live or watching the replay is that you powerfully create, that we're all powerfully creating what is actually in our heart and reminding ourselves we are powerful. There are so many possibilities in this beautiful universe of things that we can create, and there's so many possibilities and opportunities of how we can create it. So let's just keep that lid off our limitations. We might find that it might pop back on again sometimes. We just notice in our observation that, and it's just our conditioning, it's just our conditioning, but that's all it is. That's all it is. Love you all so much. For those of you that are going to join Chats and Connection, that is in 20 minutes. So that's for those that get to be part of the inner circle, which is everyone on this call. So if you're able to, I'd love to see you all in 20 minutes time for Chats and Connection. And yeah, have the most incredible week. Let's stay in our possibilities. We might have something that comes up that's not possible. Okay. But maybe if I do it another way, maybe it is. Right. Love you all. Thank you so much for being here. Only a message away if you need anything. Just as a reminder, if you do need anything, you can email us, Rochelle at RochelleWeir.com. You can jump into school and reach out to Jo. She can help you as well. So we really want to ensure that everyone is highly supported. So please don't suffer in silence. If you've got any questions or anything, we want to make sure that you have everything answered. Love you all. See you all really soon.